Hello people, and welcome back to the channel. And for all those who are watching this channel for the first time, check out the rest of my videos, and if you like any of those videos, including this videos, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to hear what I have to say in the future, just subscribe to the channel. This morning I'm gonna be commending Jamaica's current Prime Minister, the Honorable Andrew Holness, for putting a suspension on the no-sleeve policy to government buildings. The reason why I decided to weigh in on this issue is because I personally had an experience with the no-sleeve issue. Well, when I say I personally, I'm speaking on behalf of my family. Last year, August, when we were in Jamaica doing our vacation, we did take a couple hours or a day out of our vacation to take care of some business, which required us to visit the registration office in Twickenham Park. My wife was actually wearing a sleeveless dress, and when we got to the gate, the security officer says she has to put on a jacket or she has to put on something. She was not allowed to go into the building. I mean, both my wife and myself was a bit shocked and surprised by that, but I wasn't so sure if it was actually a Jamaican employee just being difficult, or was it a rule? Because my impression of Jamaica, not only my impression, what I've proved in Jamaica is that a lot of Jamaican workers, especially workers that are in any position of authority, they tend to abuse the authority. And even some that's not in a possession of authority tend to overdo their job. So when the security guard requested that my wife put on a sleeve, we just kind of brushed it off, and I told her, listen, let me go take care of this, you wait in the car, and I'll come back. So that's pretty much what we did. But a couple days ago, I read in the Jamaican Loop that Andrew Holness has kind of weighed in on the no-sleeve policy and has suspended it. And the reason why it piqued my interest wasn't only because my wife had that experience, but it piqued my interest because as I was reading, I realized that Andrew Holness was making a statement, and in his statement he says the no-sleeve policy is not an official rule and it's not a law in Jamaica, and that just made it even so much more ridiculous, that this no-sleeve policy, which has been enforced apparently for years, was just made up by someone one day, and Jamaica just catches it on. I thought it was ridiculous at the time when the security guard told us that no sleeves were prohibited. The reason why I thought it was ridiculous to begin with, Jamaica is a tropical country, and it's usually really hot. And for the people who live in Jamaica, it is hot. But for the people who's been out of Jamaica, such as myself and my wife, and returned to Jamaica, a typical hot day in Jamaica is extremely hot. Considering that we were staying in Ocho Rios and we drove all the way to St. Catherine, at Twickenham Park, it was kind of hard for us to go back to where we were staying to change her attire so she could have sleeves. And let's face it, this is Jamaica. I mean, unless you have to. Ordinary people don't walk around in Jamaica wearing jackets or long sleeves. If you have to, then you have to. I mean, some engagement requires for it, but we thought it was ridiculous because we were saying to ourselves, Jamaica is a Christian society. I could understand if Jamaica was a Muslim society. I could understand if Jamaica was an Islamic society, but Jamaica is a Christian society. And my wife and I, as much as we love to travel, there are certain countries that we just ruled out. And the reason why we ruled it out is because there are too much rules. And there are rules like you can't show your arms. There's rules like no PDA, no public display of affection. It means whether or not you're married, you can't walk down the street and hold your wife's hand or hold your husband's hand or your boyfriend's or your spouse's hand. No public display of affection. And sometimes when my wife and I are on the street, we hold each other's hand without even thinking. It's not something that would go like, oh, let's hold each other's hand now. It's just one of those automatic things we tend to do, especially if she's crossing the street or it just happens if we're walking to a restaurant or in and out of a restaurant. So if I've got to go to a country where I have to be constantly reminding myself that I can't hold her hand or need to wear sleeves or it's too much for us. So we just kind of rule it out. So considering that that's how we felt about those rules from Islamic country, you have to understand that when we were in Jamaica, it did create an awkwardness. But considering that we were there for our vacation, and I didn't really realize that it was an enforced, like I said, I just thought it was another Jamaican worker that's overdoing their jobs, because I've had several experiences when it comes to dealing with the Jamaican public and customer service. One of the experience I had at the same time last year when I went to Jamaica, I went to a supermarket in Otrius and we bought some items. And as we were running them through the cashier girl was saying to me that I need to turn my bottles to sit up. And her stupid remark or request frustrated me so much that my response was, just do your job, you know? Your job is just to cash what I'm buying, and that's it. You have no right to tell me how to lay my bottles down, because if I should put the bottle to sit up and then when the conveyor cashier belt thing goes and one of my drinks is broken, you're not going to pay me for it. You're going to say it's my fault. So I put the drinks to lay down because in my opinion it made more sense. There are little things like that. There was another time when my wife and I were living in Jamaica and we went to, I think they had like a little local government office in Falmouth, Trelawney, and went there to apply for a national insurance number. And they give you a form. And I was on a phone call at the same time because national insurance number was for me. So I says to my wife, fill it out for me and I'll sign it at the end. And the girl made a big deal out of it. Oh, no, she can't fill it out for you. You have to fill it out for yourself. It was a very stupid remark because all it required you to put your name and address, date of birth, etc. in block letters and then give your official signature. And that was another case of a Jamaican in a position that was abusing their job, abusing their position, overdoing their job, you know, because I don't know, maybe she thought maybe I couldn't read, maybe I couldn't write, and she just wanted to ridicule me. But at the end of the day, I did ignore her and just tell my wife, fill it out, I'll sign it, date it, and give it back to them. But in Jamaica, there are a lot of that, so it's very hard to differentiate. Is it a rule? Is it a law? Or is this employee just being difficult? So without making this vlog too long and drawn out, like I said, it was just a commendation vlog for the Prime Minister Andrew Holness to weigh in these other matters. I know at the moment everybody is weighing in on the Petrojam scandal and who got shot and who got killed and roadworks this and roadworks that. So I was pleased to actually see that this issue was actually addressed, which is considered by many as a minor issue. It's not really a minor issue. A lot of Jamaicans have gotten complacent with these stupid rules, and I commend the Prime Minister for bringing up the fact that if it's not a law, If it's not a rule under the law, under the old English law or the amended Jamaican law, then it's a no-go. And Jamaican people need to start asking those questions. Is it a rule? Is it a law? Or is it just your rule, you know? And the reason why I suggest that Jamaican people start doing this, it's all in aim of making Jamaica democracy works better, of making Jamaica freedom of speech, freedom of action, freedom of being, and freedom of presentation. You know, if it's not a rule, you know, I'm all for law and order. And by Jamaicans respecting the law and Jamaicans enforcing the law, it's all about making Jamaica a better place. So once again, big respect to Andrew Holness for weighing in on this matter. I know a lot of females in Jamaica and a lot of females around the world who have visited Jamaica are very pleased to hear this. And there are so much more hidden rules like this, like I said, that has no legal substance to it, that are exercised in Jamaica daily. And you Jamaicans that are living in Jamaica, if you are curious or unsure about a restriction or a prohibition, ask a question. If no one wants to answer, look it up for yourself. That's what the internet is there for. So once again, I welcome everyone's comment, positive or negative, doesn't really matter. I respect everyone's opinion. I respect everyone's point of view just as much as I would like them to respect mine. So, until next time, peace.